What's up guys, welcome back to Escooter Clinic. Today we're looking at the Extreme Bull. It's tiny, it's mighty, and it's going to shake up the EUC industry forever. Now this wheel is for high octane commuters and off-road trail riders. This wheel has taken everything Big Goat has learned.
Wait a damn minute.
Thomas from the future here. Yeah, I say Big Goat a few times. Let's just say the Extreme Bull and Big Goat are basically on the first name basis. Wink wink, back to the video. And compressed it into a 15-inch tiny pocket rocket. So if you're interested in having an AT off-road gnarly trail beast, which you could take to shops as well, this is the video for you. So who is the target audience for this wheel? Now this wheel is someone who has like a go-to kind of commuter lifestyle, but also wants to take the wheel out for AT trails. This strong, compact 15-inch wheel is designed with suspension in mind to take you off-road in trail riding, and also small enough to tuck under your desk for an urban city commuter. Now EUC technology has definitely expanded a lot in the recent years. Before, if we wanted suspension, we want these large, massive EUCs that weighed an absolute ton. Now this is taking everything we've learned from all those other wheels and compacting it down into a small pocket rocket, pun intended. So the travel distance for this EUC suspension is 100 millimeters, which gives you enough suspension for these gnarly off-road trails. And with that 100 millimeter suspension for this wheel, that means you've got enough travel distance for the off-road trails. So stuff like out here in the sticks, you don't feel absolutely anything when hitting those trails. You can also use this in an urban environment as well. So if you're a stair enthusiast, if you want to take an EUC down a set of stairs, this wheel can do it all. And the rebound is actually really nice, and there's actually two elements you can change on the wheel itself. And these are two small dials that are on top of the EUC, which are the compression and the rebound. Funny enough, on the dials on this EUC, once they both say compression, which is a little bit strange to be honest. One on the left is for compression and on the right is for rebound. Actually, that's reversed. The left one is rebound and the right one is compression. That's how easy it is to get the mistake between these two dials. But that means you can really dial in your wheel for your own personal preference. So it's an exciting element to really kind of have that perfect ride that is ready for you. If you want a stiffer ride for like concrete, cement, urban riding, you can tighten this down to have that stability to stop that kind of like rebound, like throwing you off and keeping you unsafe on the wheel. You can dial it in for an urban setting, and then you can sponge it up for those gnarly off-road trails. This wheel can do it all. Now if we talk about versatility of this wheel, the tyre that comes with this is a 15-inch tyre with knobbly treads, but it is actually really easy to swiftly change that wheel to a slick tyre for urban riding, and it is not a nightmare to do. Some wheels we've had in the past are an absolute nightmare to do the tyre exchange. So if you used to get flat, or if you want to change it for your different scenarios, it's not too bad to do so. You just take the outer side off, the top off, and you get an exposure to the wheel. It's not that complex. In about 20 to 30 minute window, you can take that AT knobbly tyre off and exchange it for a slick urban tyre depending on what your needs are. I actually rode this first with a slick tyre and it felt so nimble and connected to the ground, but for these off-road trails a knobbly tyre is a must. Now the motor that is paired with this EUC is a really respectable 2,500 watts. Now from Big Goat's website, they're saying a top speed around 28 miles an hour. Now I think that is underclocking the potential of this wheel. Some riders have reported pushing this wheel up to 45 plus miles an hour. Now why would they put the speed limit at 28 miles an hour if the higher capacity is available? Mostly to do with safety. Now this thing in EUC culture, which is all about riding to the beeps. So I feel like from my riding, I feel like a comfortable riding speed. I feel like a new intermediate rider is around the 30 mile an hour top speed range. You can push this higher. Obviously we've got reported riding of higher speeds, but for me with the smaller compact wheel, I think 28 to 30 miles an hour is that kind of sweet spot to ride with safety and stability. Now the battery that is paired with this wheel is a huge 1,500 watt hour battery with a voltage of 168 volts. That means you can get an estimated range from Big Goat's website around 62 miles or 100 kilometers. Now, the batteries that are using for this wheel are Samsung 50S cells, which are the standard of EUC batteries nowadays, the ones we're looking for reliability over the entire length of the battery. And then from testing from the guys from the Escooter clinic, we've got a range around 30 miles on hard riding. Now, that is pushing this wheel to its limit. And in a compact size like this is a very respectable amount of range for off-road trails and urban city commuting. Now, this wheel has a couple of fun features built into the wheel itself. There's actually LED front headlights and there are brake lights as well. Now, this is important for off-road trail riding and night riding in mind. It's very important that you're being able to be seen and see where you're going as well. It actually features a headlight as well for night riding. The wheel's also featuring a smart BMS system, so you can use the Bigoda app to look at the battery percentage and balancing, so you know you've got safety at all times. Now, with that BMS, you actually get a 5 amp charger in the box, but if you upgrade to an 8 amp charger, you can charge this wheel in its entirety in just over an hour. For an EUC to charge an hour, that's insane. Another one of the safety features about this wheel is that it's IP66 waterproof. Now, that isn't the highest number for waterproofing for an EUC, but it's enough for those light drizzles if you get caught out in a pinch. Now, I'd never advise riding any PEV in the rain, but you know that you're covered for those light splashes and when you get caught out in terrible conditions. Now, in the box, you do actually get pads with this EUC, but traditionally, they're not very good. I would suggest upgrading with the pads that I'm using today, which are the Panther pads, which gives you a really nice hard platform to push yourself against, but not too hard where it's super uncomfortable. It's a nice hybrid of comfort, movement, and support where it's needed. Now, one thing I really like about the pedals for this EUC is the fact they're adjustable depending on your own personal preference. You can actually rise them or lower them depending on what your needs are. So there's a bit of flexibility kind of to really configure this EUC for your own personal preference. Now, one thing with all these little chops and changes with the compression, the rebound, the pedal height, and the choice of wheel to kind of determined on the tyre as well. You can have a slick, AT, or a hybrid of both. It's probably one of those versatile wheels on the market currently, and it allows you to make those choices and make this wheel your own with your own personal preference. Things to look out for, I would change maybe the tyre depending on what your personal preference is, but the knobbly tyre that comes out of the box is working absolutely fantastically today and it's doing exactly what is needed. And with maintenance as well, as I said, it's quite easy to change the tyre to a slick, off-road or AT depending on what your preference is. It's really easy to do the maintenance side of things as well. So if you need to do some engineering, need to do some work on the suspension, if you want to do some work on the battery, it's easy to get to. It's not a nightmare to get to these parts because a lot of these wheels, they're built and they're stuck in that way. And if any situation where you need to do any customization, repairs or anything like that, it's normally game over and you have to take it to a shop for maintenance. But it's something we can help you with at Escooter Clinic, but if you want to do it yourself, this wheel is more user-friendly than most EUCs. Now, if we talk about build quality for the EUC, now the spikes that come here are very modest and comfortable. Normally for like trainers, but it's always best to ride in boots with an EUC. But I feel like with my normal little vansies, they seem to be performing absolutely fine. They're not intrusive, they're not spiking your feet in. Obviously, if you want to adjust these, we can offer upgrades, we can change it for your own personal preference. But for me, out of the box, I feel like this is very modest and I haven't slipped off these pedals once. Mostly with these pads and these spikes as a combo, they're very subtle and they don't dig into your feet. These are a healthy balance between comfort and being locked in for safety. And with the suspension and that capacity and all those bits put together, it does add some weight to this EUC. Now, the weight of this EUC is actually 28 kilograms or 61.7 pounds, which is a bit of a chunky boy. But let's think about what you get there. You get a wheel that can go 30 plus, 40 plus miles an hour if you push it and you know how to ride safely. Suspension, lights, Bluetooth capability for music, and a build quality that you know and that you can trust. A wheel that can take you in the great outdoors, but also take you to work to pick up your groceries as well. So versatility, that's the king here. Now, what is the finish for this EUC? What have they done to reduce the weight as much as possible? Now, they've used a lot of CNC parts with a magnesium alloy to reduce the wheel's weight as much as possible. But only you can do so much with an EUC. Of a compact design, what can we do to reduce the weight and where has that weight gone to? Now, as you can see, the grab handle for this wheel is absolutely fantastic. It's CNC. They have a single piece of aluminum and it's a really nice, good size. But if you're a taller rider, it might be a little bit of a stretch to reach down and grab it. But we're talking in scrimps and scrapes, and only for a couple seconds if you're walking around the shop. The only thing that bugs me about this wheel in particular is to fold it down. You have to go in, put your finger in, and then collapse it down to lock it down. Now, I'm not too much of a fan of that system, and a lot of time I end up just leaving it up because I just can't be bothered to flick that switch. It's not much of an ergonomic design, and it's one thing I think that Bigot could do better with a future iteration of this wheel. One thing that's a really important factor to myself is being able to see what speed and percentage of battery I am at a glance. With the really massive, it's like this big LED screen on the top, all you need to do is quickly have a glance. You know what speed you're at, and you know what voltage you're at, and the capacity, all at a simple glance. Now that is really important, because when you're riding, all you should be doing is focusing on where you're going and what you're doing. It's not about having like a really tiny screen to look at. Having a nice big screen makes it clear, easy and safe. So what is the overall score I'm going to give to the Extreme Bull? A compact 15-inch suspension wheel that can go over 30 plus miles an hour and you can hit the trails with. I would give this wheel a 7.5 out of 10 for its versatility, its build quality, power, speed and overall finish of the wheel. And there's my conclusion of the Extreme Bull Rocket, a compact EUC that does it all. And if you're looking for more EUCs on the channel, we haven't featured them yet, please put them in the comments below. Like and subscribe for more content, and if you can't wait for any more, please check out our latest video where we bring the EUC community together and we tour the London city streets. See you on the next one.